Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and the noise that you're listening to is my printer. I'm trying to print up the map of the United States. Coincidentally, when I wanted to print it up earlier, the computer, the printer gave a bit of trouble, but I would like to be able to see and to show you what's going on in the United States in terms of energies because of what's going on in the world. Today's chat is titled War in Many Dimensions. Let me tell you what we did in Venezuela over the weekend, right before a chat on Saturday night. We have worked so diligently there. I thought everything would be great. And I sketched this for Venezuela. I've never sketched these penetrating triangles before, but those are solar flares that we're going to hit or we're hitting Venezuela. Solar flares are the element of fire. Venezuela has too much fire because they're too frustrated. They're in between governments. Makes sense, except that if you're going to get hit by a solar flare, the planet is going to go by law of attraction to where there's a lot of fire. It was going to hit Venezuela after all the fine work that we had done. So we spent an hour and a half clearing the fire in Venezuela in the other dimensions with the glacier technique, which is visualizing cold water, fire, cascades from glaciers over the map of Venezuela. And we were able to clear it to the point where after an hour, several people in different cities in Venezuela said, and I did not ask them whether it felt different. I never expected that. They said that it was cooler. The air felt fresher. It was cooler in several cities in Venezuela with the work that we did. One of the problems was that when I could tell that the coast still had issues, which we had identified prior, this is from the 26th of July, those arrows, there was either going to be a potential, there was a weakness for catastrophes or invasions. So when we finished our work here that we were very pleased, I said we have to go to the coast. Because on the coast, the etheric, which is the Higgs field of Venezuela, is broken. The Higgs field is like a grid, and it is there for things not to go through quickly, for things to have to go through those little squares in the grid systematically and orderly. It was broken on the coast, which makes sense. So there could either be a catastrophe or an invasion. We worked on it. And at 10 o'clock at night and 46 minutes, I could see that two different types of spaceships above that area went to battle. A war started over the coast of Venezuela. Was it because of the coast of Venezuela? Was it because the bad guys want to enter through the coast and the good guys don't want that to happen? I don't know. I did not read that. But a battle started. Now, coincidentally, ultimate battles are starting across the planet. Obviously, mainly that what we're looking at in the Mideast. But what happens in the other dimensions determines what happens in the physical dimension. So the reason that I was very quickly able to understand when I sketched this, and I was already going to talk about the solar flares that the Space Weatherman channel on X talks about. He had said, we got some big stuff going down now. I said, well, Venezuela's frustrated, too much fire. You got some solar flares coming. And he gave a little history about the fact that there's cycle with solar flares, and you can have so many days, months, I don't know how long, so many solar flares, and they kind of build up, and then you get a massive one. And the massive one that they're expecting now will basically leave us without internet for a while. That's a problem. So I was already thinking about solar flares, but never, and Venezuela, and my liver, because that's also fire, and your liver too. And your cancer will augment with solar flares because that's fire. You're adding more fire. And then I went ahead and sketched this. So we were able to reduce this. And I believe that we were able to prevent something huge the same way the night that it was the attempted assassination of Trump, we went ahead and started to reduce the fire in the United States. And the West Coast did not look good. By the way, when we went here to Venezuela, I said we have to go underneath the ground And what we saw was lava that wanted to come up. So anyway, we were able to reduce the fire. We don't know how long that will last. In the United States, when we went right off coast of California, there was lava coming in from someplace in the other side of the planet. Law of attraction. Okay, law of attraction. The fire element. What did the original medicine of the planet say? And that's the same type of medicine, that those same baseline knowledge is followed by Ayurvedic medicine that's 5,000 years old and Chinese medicine that's 2,000 years old. Health is a balance of the four elements: water, air, fire, and earth. When you're not balanced, you're sick or on your way to being sick. Planet Earth is sick. We have too much fire. Somebody is reminding us about the Schumann resonance, and you should watch that also, because all of those can be interconnected. I just haven't been able to get somebody who knows about the Schumann resonance to work with me. I haven't worked that hard. I approached a couple of people and never heard back from them. People think that psychic stuff is just like a waste of time. No. Psychic stuff is from the other dimensions, and reality is created first in the other dimensions, and later on it manifests in the physical. But I'm not going to argue with anybody. We don't have time for that. So I was able to print up, I think, the map of the United States, and I'm going to sketch it. But before I get into that, today is the first day of your life having to do with what are you going to do about all this negativity that can take us all down. Your bank account, your kids, they could be sent off to war. Your country could completely collapse. The planet could explode with a nuclear bomb. What are you going to do about that? How do you contribute to that not happening? And all of that has to happen in the other dimensions. And the main thing that needs to happen is that, let's talk about the economy. You have to have market confidence. Market confidence is faith, crown chakra. Maybe you're not going to be able to hold on to market confidence having to do with the entire country. We don't know what's going to happen next. But you have to have at least market confidence in what you have that has to do with the economy, whether it's your stocks or real estate that you have, or cash in the bank, or companies that you run. If you can't hold your faith in what you have, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose it. And it's not a question of losing that particular thing. It's a question of you're not going to be able to sustain your prosperity, because everything around you is going to be sending you different messages. Everything is collapsing. The banks are going down. They can't get the money out of the bank. You can't get to your brokerage firm. The lines are down. You have to sustain the success you have, or you have to be very focused on the success that you're looking to achieve. And you can, because there are basic laws that rule the planet. And one of them is that your intention creates your reality. And as I've said many times, for the first time, I don't know if it's in written history. I should ask the dolphins and get that information. For the first time, we do not have a collective reality on planet Earth. You can have a reality totally different than the rest of your country, or than the rest of everybody in your industry, because your mind creates. And for the first time, we're going to be able to create individually and not just collectively. So what other people are doing is not what's going to take you down. What's going to take you down is that you're not going to be able to keep your focus on your intention to be prosperous, that your company continue to grow, that your money be safe, all of those things. For that, you have to continue to energize your intentions. To do that, you're going to have to get some new habits. And one of them is you cannot spend all your time on media, even on X. You have to spend a significant amount of your time doing things that reinforce the strength of your mind in the other dimensions, because it's your mind that creates your reality. Mantras, by definition, through the centuries, is a device that liberates your mind. Why liberate? Because your mind creates knots. And then you end up creating a very knotted reality, such as if your parents had a bad divorce, your mind will have created knots around that. That's called a vasana in Hinduism. And when you're an adult and you're going to get married or you're married, chances are you're going to recreate the reality of the quality of your marriage having to do with those knots. Mantras release those knots. They release the mind strings. So all of these, the mantras, the mudras, the positions of the hand, this one, which is the Apana mudra. Notice my breath is changing, and you'll notice that my voice is softer. And what you can't notice is that my astral spirit is more correctly inserted into my physical vehicle, which means that when in the movie they say, "May the force be with you," when I do the Apana mudra, my particular force, which is my astral spirit body, is aligned inside of more properly my physical body, at which time I'm many times stronger and I'm many times more who I am, softer female voice, rather than the fired up, more masculine version of me. When you create, you would like to create something that's compatible and resonates with who you really are, not with what circumstances created for you. So I'm going to go ahead and stand up and get the map from the computer, from the printer, and I'm going to sketch it. But I want to remind you first that it has already been proven statistically with very intense studies a long time ago that when there are solar flares, there's more wars, and that the First World War and the Second World War were started when there were incredibly large solar flares. Why is that? Solar flares send more of the element of fire. What are the characteristics of fire? Remember this having to do with your home and electronics. It radiates fire in your kids and your relationships, your factories. What are the characteristics of an excess solar flares, fire, which the solar flares bring? Insomnia, anxiety, frustration, irritation, anger, hatred, emotional violence, physical violence, murder, and suicide. Suicide is an excess of the fire element. It's somebody that is so frustrated, so frustrated. Frustration is one of the symptoms. I'm not sure that I said it. So frustrated with life and not being able to have something happen, get something done, have something corrected, that that's it. They're angry enough that they want to end their life. You cannot have a war without excess fire, which is why statistically, when they looked at the First World War, the Second World War, and they looked at the charts of the solar flares, there's a direct relationship. So how are the energies in your company, in your home? Does anybody pay any attention to the other dimensions where you need to balance the elements so that people can be in an environment that protects their mind, which is what creates their reality? Shamanism. And that was the name of the chat that we did Saturday night, applying shamanism to politics, which in this case was Venezuela. Give me a second. Let me get up and get the map. If things continue the way they are, we will be not just entertaining you with interesting information about the other dimensions, but we will be totally dedicated to creating peace and prosperity in the midst of chaos, which, as you know, I have been working on since 1999. Okay, so here I've got a map of the United States, and I've got my pens, and I'm hoping that I can use the ones with the more beautiful colors and not just the The dolphins gave me the most incredible reading on the last music that we had produced. And we named the music Let There Be Peace. The frequency of the music is the frequency of the portal, which used to be in the back of the head and is now at the left part of the head, because the North Pole's magnetic pole has moved. It's no longer with the physical North Pole, and that moves our spirit body, our astral body. So it's no longer back here, it's here. That is the portal that human beings used to enter planet Earth. And it's supposed to be kind of closed. You enter and it's kind of closed. When it opens prematurely, then the bad galactics come in through there, which is what's happening on the planet. And that opens mainly through excess fire. Excess fire is your enemy because it is the fruit of the devil, and it is the only thing that can damage your mind strings, which are from string theory, and which you have 72,000 of that extend from a center axis. Let me go ahead and, not as bad as I thought. So we have waves. We have waves of fire. Come on, chair. There's no time to be acting up. We have waves of fire. This is like creates instability. Oh, South Florida is a target for I don't know what. So remember Florida, South Florida has looked really good until now. This whole area is now a target for galactics. And why? Because South Florida is very connected to off-planet. I didn't know that. I'm just giving you information as I get it. The Northeast is completely cursed, and there is a channel coming in of galactics, and their activities are centering on Washington, D.C., where they're trying to get everybody, they're throwing a lot of extra fire so that everybody will hate each other, even within these same parties. I am right now, you could call it channeling. I don't like that word, but we can call it channeling. This is information I'm getting right now. The center of the United States has a spiral, but it is actually much better than it was because of the work we did the night of the attempted Trump assassination. So this area is also more settled because of the work that we did. That's nice to hear, and you don't have to believe me. All you have to do is have your instinctive knowing operational. Because you see, you can't believe the government and you can't believe the news, and you don't have to believe me, but you need to be able to have your system of surveillance and of knowledge operational, and most of you don't. You're so used to being part of a hierarchical society where it said the guy at the top knows more than you do. He's got a university degree in that particular subject, and he knows, because if not, he knows. And what he's telling you must be okay, because obviously he's supposed to have good intentions. All of that's wrong. We have basically annihilated our ability to take care of ourselves. So I'm going to say a small story, and then I'll continue with the map. In times when we used to live in caves or in natural settings, everybody was intuitive and everybody was interconnected, including with the animal kingdom. And if the people needed food and they had to go hunt, the animals knew that. They didn't have to be close. The people didn't need to tell them. The animals would know that. And they would go by the river and wait for the humans to come with their bows and arrows or whatever they had, looking for the animals and then kill them, and they would have meat or whatever for their tribe, their people. But the animals knew that, and the animals would come and just position themselves so that human beings would have food. Well, you could say that's really dumb. It's not dumb, because we're all interconnected. Those animals are connected to us, and we are connected to the animals. It's a circle of life that includes us. We put ourselves out and we witness what's going on with animals, and we think it's so sweet how our pets kind of are so sweet to us. They're there taking care of us. Back to this. So this is not as bad as I thought, other than there's a big emphasis on taking down any goodwill that could possibly be in Washington, D.C. This is a channel of hate. I go with my instincts. There's nothing else I need to sketch here. Yes, there's a spiraling here. We need to stop that. That means the heart is kind of like racing and going and going. Makes sense with what's going on in banking and all the rest of that. This is like waves of fire. We need to take care of that. But this is not as bad as I expected. The unusual thing is this: the galactics are focusing on South Florida and part of the Carolinas. Does this make sense to me? If I think about it a little bit, it does. And I can't reveal why it is that it does, but it does. So, not quite sure what to do about that, but we don't need to decide that right now. So, how is your home, your land, your factory? Where are the weaknesses? And I'll repeat again the story that, let me get this chair moved. I had told somebody that there was a part of the building where their factory was, where there were some issues. And they said, oh yeah, we found mold there. We took care of it though. There's still an issue there. And I said, you have a congestion of fire there. You really need to take care of it. Oh yeah. A lot of people do that to me. Not so many anymore. They got hit by lightning. Where did the building get hit by lightning? Exactly in that corner. Exactly in that corner. Because the grid field, the Higgs field, is broken there. So where is your Higgs field broken? Well, maybe you can't even afford my services, but you're no dummy. You know your factory, you know your home. Where does the roof leak? Breaking the Higgs field. Where is it that your kid says he always feels like a weird feeling in that corner in that room? Broken Higgs field. Where do the kids always fight? Higgs field. It's not a coincidence when people always fight in the same place. Then they walk 10 feet away and they stop fighting. Broken Higgs field. Where is it that the floor is not level or that there's a problem with the floor? Where in your yard does water accumulate? Your front door, does it have mold and the plants all half dead there and the doorbell doesn't ring? Break in the Higgs field. Wherever you have a physical problem in your home or your property, you have a break in the Higgs field and you need to trolley on real quick and get that fixed. And you can also do a mantra at the same time having to do with repairing the other dimensions of that space. That's the case with the United States. That's why right after that night, after the attempted assassination, we trolleyed on over to the west coast of the United States because that's where all the bad activity was happening. And we cleared it. And in Venezuela, what kept appearing was the coast. First, it looked like there was a potential for a natural catastrophe. And then on Saturday night, it had to do with an invasion after we had cleared the rest of Venezuela. We came up with some very interesting techniques, which I will tell you right now, having to do with what we were doing with Venezuela. We have a Fox protocol for Venezuela. We have as many people as possible visualizing the whole country with glaciers. They have a lot of waterfalls, but waterfalls all over the country, even if there are no physical waterfalls. And wherever there was too much fire, we would visualize either the entire map of Venezuela or that part of the country inside an igloo. The kinds of people that would be very violent because they're losing their position because of the transition of the government, we visualize them inside of igloos. I just found out today that Maduro from Venezuela, the outgoing leader of Venezuela, is a Sagittarius. Sagittarius, the horoscopes I did this week were, I remember when I got to it, I didn't know that he was a Sag. I went, oh my God, Sag, you're like, because the subtitle of my horoscopes this week was, where is the magic in you? And when I got to Sagittarius Maduro, but I didn't know it was him, I went, I don't see the magic in you. You're just so frustrated. There is no magic here. I said, I don't know what's going on, but you've been not in a good place for a long time. A lot of black magic has been done on you. I didn't know I was talking about Maduro. There is a lot of black magic in Venezuela. I said, and I'm assuming there'll be some correcting of this in the future, but right now there is no magic in you. I believe it was the only astrological sign that I said that for. Very interesting, the thing that the planets do. So you need to develop your instinctive knowing. You need to be able to feel that something's not quite right. And you need to honor that. Your pets tell you that. Your pets are fine. All of a sudden they stand up and they're like, they get nervous. What are they nervous about? Maybe a spirit just showed up. Maybe they're anticipating something that's going to happen. I know that my pet, that's a breed that's called Teddy, and he looks like a little teddy bear, um, lets me know when he gets nervous. I get nervous, and then I go, okay, so what's going on? And a lot of times it has to do with the fact that I'm not in a good place, and there's something that I need to do. A lot of times it has to do with stuff happening, and I need to be more awake and aware rather than addicted to my computer, to whatever it is that I'm reading on the computer. So you have pets and you have animals that are around your house, such as squirrels. And the symbolism of squirrel is get ready, but not necessarily something bad. It could be just get ready for good stuff. So you need to get yourself that book from Ted Andrews, or you need to get onto the computer. And when you see an animal, not just that it feels like it might be important, you go and look up what is the message that animal's trying to give you. You need to become aware of changes in the other dimensions. You can't wait for me to diagnose your place, even though I'll be more than glad to do it. It's expensive. I'll be more than glad to do that. You need to be able to see the signs. If everything is fine at home, there's no storm going on, and all of a sudden a painting falls off your wall, that is a sign. And it has nothing to do with superstition. Your wall has consciousness. Every part of your body has consciousness. Now we're finding out that that parasites have consciousness and cancer cells have consciousness, which means they have intentions. So you need for your consciousness to be very awake and aware. You need to be able to look at things and be the good news is that there's so much around you that wants to help you. From a tree that dies in a particular part of your yard. Why did that tree die and not the one on the other side of the yard? There's a map of your home and of your property. It's called the Bagua. Bagua map. It's 3,000 years old. You lay that map over your home or over the entrance of your property. The entrance of your home can be the front door or it might be the garage. You lay it there and it will tell you what energies of your life are being channeled in that part of your home. So something falls from the wall, a painting, and you go grab that map, which you should have on your refrigerator door, right next to the white dress, so you'll know when your frequency is dropping, and you'll figure out that's the part of your house that has to do with helpful friends. And you'll go, yeah, I know what that is. I know what that is. What does that mean? You put the painting that fell down back up again, and you pay attention to that space, that room, or wherever that is. You do not abandon that part of your house. You focus on it because it is telling you that there is some revolution going on in your life, or the people that live there having to do with helpful friends. So God left an awful lot of maps out there, an awful lot of ways where you can be advise that something is going on. Now, we have a group of beings with no physical body that we call our SWAT team. And we keep getting new members of the SWAT team, new spirits that channel particular energies. I'm Francis Fox. I channel a particular energy, which is me. Anubis, which is the son of Osiris, Egyptian gods, channels a particular energy and intention. He's responsible. Anubis runs responsible for the underworld. And oh my God, spirits. Anubis is responsible for making sure that the spirits are ready to go on the path that they should be on, having to do with the afterlife. So if you hear Anubis, oh my God, the god of the underworld, oh my God, this is dark stuff. Do you know how important it is for your spirit to go to the right place after you die? Important enough that that was one of the reasons why Jesus Christ came, to help to lead us to the light, but also to lead spirits to the light. There is so much out there to help you that you're not aware of. There's a map of every inch of your body that if you burn yourself someplace, you can go to that map and it will tell you what flower essence is good for that spot. Okay, well, now you got the name of the flower essence. How did that help you? Oh no, that flower essence is known to take care of these particular things. So that if you burnt yourself here, and that's the flower essence you need, it's because you have a problem with those issues. This part of the body has to do with frustration. Oh, darn, Francis has been working forever to try to finish with all these wrinkles. Yeah, as soon as we can get the people in jail that did all the sex trafficking, I am sure that this will iron itself out because that stuff still continues. There's maps for everything. And you better get with the program because your authorities are not going to be able to help you. If you're not aligned with your mission, I think you're going to go down. There's no way you could possibly feel good about anything if you're not already diligently working on something that's going to help humanity. That doesn't mean you give away everything you have. You can work for humanity and make $1 gazillion. Look at Elon Musk and look at Trump. Give me a break. Pay attention. As a matter of fact, the people that are aligned with their mission are the ones that are going to be able to make and keep their money. It's the people that simply are working for dollars that are not going to make it because that doesn't feel good anymore. That's not what the planet is about anymore. So I'm going to look at my notes. I'm going to tell you, I'm happy with what I see in the United States. Really happy. I think Washington, D.C. is going to go down because this is not the first time that I have sketched that there's a channel of fire being infused into Washington, D.C. But this is better than I thought. This was certainly better than what Venezuela was on Saturday before we started. The galactic war over the coast of Venezuela is worrisome. I don't think it's a coincidence starting exactly the same time in which the wars have been declared in the Mideast. What does that all mean? I don't know. But you need to take care of your life. But you need to know that this is bigger than a bread box. And maybe soon we will all recognize that our real enemies are not other human beings. It's the bad guys from off planet. The Dolphins gave me a great write-up on how the planet Earth, the agreements that were made for the humans, for the spirits that were going to come into planet Earth and become human beings with physical bodies. I will get that write-up maybe by tomorrow and you'll be able to see it. And you will also be able to hear the new music that's a frequency that repairs your teeth. Your teeth can regrow with this frequency. But it turns out that that frequency is for a lot more things. It's the frequency of the portal, of the galactic portal that all humans have here. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get up quick. I don't think I'll be able, I'm going to give it the old college try to see if I can get it up here now for you to listen to it, because I'm really dying for you to listen to it. I really am. So give me a second. Let's see. I have to go here. Where would I? Okay. So just be patient. I think maybe I need to tell myself to be patient. Mm, no, I'm not going to be able to do it because it's on my other computer. Oh, well. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and do the peace mantra. If there is no hate and there is no fear, there is no war. We could do the mantra having to do with reducing fire, but I think but that's not going to take into consideration the fear that people have, which is a different element. Fear is from the water element, but you're going to die faster of a disease from the fire, from an excess of fire element, than from an excess of the water element. But let's go ahead and no. Okay, let me close this down and see if I start someplace else. Okay, this is not, and I'm sure that I'm getting something incorrect. Um, mm, I am not able to get to it. But every time I come on this platform in English, there's an issue, and I'm sure that I'm the issue. Give me a second and see if we cannot. Hmm. It is not letting me do this. Okay, we're going to have to do the mantra with no music. Hmm. One more time. No. Okay. I could spend 20 minutes clicking back and forth, and that's not what we want. So here's the mantra. No, we're going to do the one for. This is the mantra. You repeat it in silence. And there you go. Go ahead and start. And I'm going to try to go to the other computer and get what it is that I want. The mantras are repeated in silence, and you blow the breath out through your mouth. Ah. Hmm. Hmm. These are your energy bodies. And why is that now they're in Spanish? Oh dear. Hmm. And it's in Spanish again. That's not what I'm looking for. How did I do that? I'm going to go ahead and give you a healing in the back of your heart chakra. So, in a minute, you will probably be able to breathe more easily. So, I'm going to also put up the white dress, which is the way you can self measure your frequency. It should be brilliant white and brilliant gold. So, now I'm going to give you a healing in the back of your heart chakra. Please repeat the mantra in silence. I think I may be able to get the new video up. I'm going to try. Oh, I am going to be able to put it up. I have reached the limit of my storage. If I don't pay $16 a month, I cannot put up the video. Okay. Okay. It is the musical composition by Mateo Cuaron that has the frequency of the biggest portal humans have, which is here in the left side of the head. How we came in from other galaxies to this planet was through this portal. And we have the frequency, which coincidentally is the frequency that repairs your teeth. Coincidentally, it's the frequency of many other things, which the dolphins are telling me about. Okay, we're going to stop because I'm frustrated. If I go to the storage and I ditch one of the, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to the storage. Now I can't get to my storage. Nope. I was going to ditch one of the videos I already have so I could put in this new one and show it to you. New scene. Let's see. Nope. You're not going to hear it tonight. You're going to have to wait till tomorrow. I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow to be able to share it with you. Bottom line, if it's not this solar flare that takes us totally down because it adds more fire to a planet that's already on fire, it will be the next solar flare or the next one. You need to direct yourself towards the reduction of fire in your life, your factories, your home, your car, etc. You need to reduce it. Even if you have an electric car, you can reduce the fire by playing our trilling sensory therapy video, which is to reduce the fire. There's a lot of things you can do. You need to get creative and you need to get focused. Don't wait for the war to start in your country, in your town. Don't wait for things to collapse. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Remember, intention creates reality. And what destroys our ability to create what we really want is subconscious intentions that we're not really aware of, but that play out stronger than our conscious intentions. And being in a planet where people have not understood the bottom line basics of life, which is the four elements must be balanced. If not, there's huge consequences. We may lose the entire planet. We may lose the human race because of the excess fire. And I was not the one who said that first. And we're definitely going to lose any tranquility we could possibly have in the political arena if we don't get the fire reduced. I hope we don't go into the elections with this level of rage because it's not going to end well. So you're going to get to hear the composition tomorrow. So I'm going to pay the extra $16. Just joking. I'll do whatever I need to do to make sure that you can hear it and benefit from it. And then we will have by, I think, Monday or Tuesday, a 10-hour version with a black screen so that you can go to sleep at night and get your teeth repaired, your mouth repaired. If you have sexual abuse issues, those get released by this particular frequency. It's unbelievable. But this is supposed to be a time of magic, and frequencies are magical. But you have to understand or know or read what somebody else, the work they already did, and then apply it to your life. Okay. We will be